Now we're moving on to my July orders. So I had a total of 5 Nendoroids and 2 scale figures. So I'm going to start off, of course, with some of the Nendoroids. Some of them I was pretty happy to pick up at the end of the day. So the first one, another Chainsaw Man Nendoroid. This is, of course, the Kobeni Nendoroid. So yeah, I just picked her up because I'm like, oh, I'm collecting Chainsaw Man Nendoroids, and I thought I would pick her up as well. To be honest, I'm not too sure how the aftermarket is for Chainsaw Man Nendoroids. I'm not too sure if it was like it's more or less than what they were for retail. But yeah, I picked up Kobeni because she has a lot of like very interesting facial expressions to say the least, and yeah, so I'll pick her up right now. So here we have the very adorable Kobeni Nendoroid. Again, I feel like the sculpt work is pretty nice overall for, you know, a simple like black suit. Nothing really too noticeably off in terms of paint and such. So yes, I do have her in this pose. I actually quite like the way it looks with the knife and the gun. And so yes, the Kobeni Nendoroid comes with some, you know, different facial expressions and parts. So she comes with the knife and the gun, as well as 3 facial expressions, which is kind of why I picked her up, which includes a standard face, a nervous face, and a sobbing face. So yes, again, fairly simple, fairly bare bones, in terms of accessories for Kobeni. I definitely feel like the facial expressions, though, make up for that in a way. I'm interested to see more of Kobeni in the story of Chainsaw Man, because again, there hasn't been like too much with her, in terms of course the anime, but when we get down into the manga, like stuff gets crazy. So I would definitely love to see, you know, also more additional accessories for her in the future if Good Smile decides to make any additional Chainsaw Man accessories. So I'm first gonna actually be starting off with all the Ami Ami merch pickups I did. So I'm just gonna combine them all together. I'm not gonna go month by month because I don't really remember what items were in each month, but there is quite a bunch to go through. So, and then next up, I have all of this merch that Ami Ami threw in a plastic bag, and then there's some other stuff on top. So I'm gonna go through, of course, the Heaven's Official's Blessing merch first, because there's a lot. And again, I picked these up because they're quite inexpensive and the artwork is gorgeous, so I'll take some out right now. So starting off right here, we of course have Shi Lian and Hua Chang. I almost mixed it up with Master of Diabolism. I almost mixed up the characters. But we have them in this like gorgeous winter scene. And this is actually one of these, I think they're called like lenticular cards. They basically kind of change, what's the word? The picture kind of changes when you move the cards side by side, but this one not really. It's weird, and I think it's actually supposed to kind of give like a 3D effect, which is interesting. Did not expect it to be like this. It's pretty cool. Maybe I would have preferred it to not be kind of like this lenticular design, but they look gorgeous overall, so you know, I'm glad to pick this up at the end of the day. Next up, we have some Heaven's Official's Blessing Shikishis. Again, I like picking these up for the overall artwork, and again, pretty cheap overall. So there's a bunch of these gorgeous ones with, of course, the gold border and some little silver details on, which I really like. Yeah, and the print quality, of course, on these are absolutely fantastic. So I picked up 3 of, okay. I picked up 3 of these nice long shikishis, looking absolutely gorgeous. And then there was this one right here, which is actually kind of like a folding screen shikishi. So essentially it just folds out like in 3 ways. Again, B-roll is gonna, you know, show what I mean. But very nice. I really like the art style on this one. And yeah, they look absolutely gorgeous overall. So yes, very happy to pick up some extra little art pieces at the end of the day. So next up, I have this acrylic standee. It is based off actually the artwork for that 3-way folding shikishi board. But this is like in a chibi style, and again, very adorable artwork. I really do like that original illustration, and it's kind of nice to have it as sort of a little acrylic standee as well, and everyone looks so cute in their chibi forms. So I also forgot that I actually do have some Master of Diabolism merch that I picked up. I completely forgot I had them. I thought I had just Heaven's Official's Blessing stuff, but we have this lovely Shikishi board of Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji. Very gorgeous artwork, and interestingly enough, you know, usually Shikishi boards I feel like have like a gold border, but this one has a silver border. But yes, again, gorgeous artwork. Love me some nice long-haired boys in my collection. And then lastly of all of that merch, I actually have a bunch of acrylic standees once again. These are all Master of Diabolism, and they're just, I really like picking these up. The bigger ones tend to go for like 15 USD, so again, not super expensive considering how massive they are. So I'm gonna go through these one at a time because there's, you know, quite a bit in my hand. So the first one I have right here is the Lan Wangji. I believe it's supposed to be, yeah, birthday version acrylic standee. This is gonna kind of go with my Wei Wuxian birthday acrylic standee, but yeah, I thought I'd pick it up to complete the set of the two. Very cute overall. Again, he's got some sweets in there, and it's just absolutely adorable. And then we have this one right here where Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji are under cherry blossoms. Again, I'm a sucker for Sakura, so I had to pick this up. So this is called the, I'm gonna probably butcher this name of what the name of this acrylic standee is, but it's called the Yo Yan Chun Zhu version. I don't know what this is, but you know, I wanted to pick it up because again, I'm loving the Sakura theme and they both look so good in this acrylic standee. This one specifically is the Lin Lu Wen Gay version. I'm sorry if I butchered it. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Absolutely gorgeous. And this was actually like 1,660 yen, which is roughly like 10 USD. And I feel like for this, it's excellent. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous acrylic standee. Again, unfortunately I don't have the room for these big guys, but I'm hoping to display them in the future. And then we have this one right here. This one is called Master of Diabolism 2 in Harmony version. And again, gorgeous art style. They even include like the bunnies in there, which is cute. Again, I'm just gonna show these in B-roll. These do come, I believe, with a protective like film on top, so if it does look like scratched and messed up, it's just because I didn't remove the film, because I am just gonna immediately put them back in the packaging. So yes, a lot of nice like Heaven's Official's Blessing and Master of Diabolism merch pickups. There's definitely quite a bunch, but again, the prices, I can't get over the prices. I'm like, I might as well just shell out that little bit of money for them. So yeah, but I just love the quality of these overall. And after that, I actually have a video game pickup, which was quite surprising. This is the Ebe Switch version, in Japanese, by the way. I saw this on AmiAmi and I want to pick it up because I love Ebe. I love the game. Ebe is an RPG maker horror game where you play as the main character Ebe, who goes through pretty much like a haunted art gallery. And it's a very classic RPG maker horror game, and they imported it to the Switch. And in the US, you can get it digitally, I believe, but I like getting physical copies of video games, so I had to pick this one up. I believe I got this after it released because fortunately the pre-orders were closed, but thankfully they restocked, it seemed, or people canceled the physical limited edition version, so I picked it up. And yeah, so this comes with the physical copy of the game. It also comes with a replica of Ebe's handkerchief. And lastly, a nice little art book showing off the various art pieces and enemies in the game and sort of their pixelated forms, as well as I believe some like fan art at the end. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the fan art is kind of small in size, which I kind of wish they dedicated some like, you know, pages to, like in a larger scale, so we can, you know, look at them a lot more clearer. But yeah, I was overall happy just to pick this up. Again, I played this game way back in the day. Even before I think it got like its like update with new endings, but yeah. Um, yeah, this game just has like a lot of like sentimental value to me and is quite nostalgic, so I just decided to pick up this, you know, very nice limited edition. So the next figure we have right here is the third in the Hades line of Nendoroids, which is the Mega Run Nendoroid. So I picked her up to kind of go with Zagreus and Thanatos, and I do like the box design. I mean, again, pretty simple for a Nendoroid, but it has a gradient going from red to black. And yeah, I do like Meg as a character, and I really do like her design, so I decided to pick her up for the collection, so I'll show her off right now. So here she is, and I really do like the way she turned out overall. I really like the little details that they added, including all of the spiky details, and the gold is very nicely painted. And her ponytail does move a bit, so that's nice. You can get her in some more actiony poses. And she comes with, of course, her whip. And I guess there's some other like details that I maybe wish were a little bit better in terms of shading, like her wings. But maybe I wouldn't have liked it to be like one color of pink and black. So yeah, other accessories she includes 2 different faceplates. So you have this, which is the standard one, which is more like kind of an angry facial expressions, and also a smiling faceplate. And she also has the skull, ear, and keepsake, and a miniature figure of Batty. And of course, her wings are considered like an extra part. Now, I do have a bit of a story with this figure, which is kind of unfortunate, and that is I broke the like little end of her whip, not the pink part, but the little I don't know, the butt end of the whip handle. Basically what happens is I thought I could like twist it like it was gonna be a regular circle peg. It was not. It was a half peg, I believe, and I broke it. Needless to say, I was kind of, you know, like I was like, no, I can't believe it. I busted the peg, and I contacted Good Small Global because they're usually supposed to say, oh well, we can send you an extra part if it was broken. And they didn't. They said, oh, we can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. If I can find the email that they sent me, I'll put it up on screen. But usually they're, you know, they're like, oh, they're pretty chill with, you know, resending broken parts. I think it has to be broken in box. I did say specifically that I broke it, so there was that. So that's why I have her in this pose where she just has like the whip all like in her hand. Again, it's not like an awful break. Like I can just display her, you know, with the whip in hand, but I just can't have her shown with the end broken. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So if you do get this Nendoroid, I would definitely be careful with that peg. But yeah, I think she looks great overall. I'll probably be showing her with some B-roll with Zagreus and Thanatos, and yeah, overall very excited to have her in my collection. Additionally, quite an expensive Nendoroid. On the Good Small website, she's 8,500 yen, so definitely a bit pricey. Not sure how she is aftermarket, but I think she turned out great overall. So now moving on to the last 2 Nendoroids, I actually have 2 Snow Miku Nendoroids. We have the very first Snow Miku Nendoroid, which is Nendoroid number 97. Super duper old, but very inexpensive, and I'll explain why I picked this one up. But the first Snow Miku figure that I have in my collection is the 2023 Snow Miku Serene Winter version. I mean, yeah, I liked this character's design because it does have like a little bit of an artist theme with that giant paintbrush, and I'm a sucker for the pastel colors for this one. The box is interesting to say the least. I'm gonna probably show some B-roll of why this box is interesting, and it kind of like opens up, like you take this like sleeve off, and then it essentially just like opens up on the sides, which is interesting to say the least. It's a very simplistic box design. I do like the sort of like gradation that's on it. So yeah, pretty simple. It's a little bit weird, but you know, I dig it overall. And then we have the very old Snow Miku box. I do kind of like the look of it overall. You do have some like cute little snowflake details in silver. And yeah, this is a pretty old Nendoroid. So Yeah, I picked this up because I'm actually interested in collecting the Snow Miku Nendoroids. Some are a lot cheaper than others, I will admit. So I actually picked this off of Ami Ami pre-owned for 8 USD. So yes, very, very cheap. It was pretty much like brand new, like not unboxed. The only thing I had to do was I actually had to clean this up because it was sticky. That's what happens with Nendoroids when they're in the box for a very long time, or at least I feel like that's maybe with like very, very old Nendoroids. So yeah, I'm like, why not? Well, I can get it while I still can for that cheap of a price, so yes. I'll pick them both up right now. So I think I might do these one at a time just because the Serene Snow Miku is quite heavy overall. It's because of her pigtails. But yeah, so super cute. I actually ordered her off of Nin Game. I don't know why I decided to do that instead of ordering her from the Good Small Global website. But yeah, this Nendoroid is absolutely gorgeous. I really love the way her hair looks. It looks like so nice and swirly. It has like a sort of cotton candy feel to it, which I absolutely adore. The outfit design is super duper cute as well. So she has multiple accessories, of course. She has 3 faceplates, including a standard one, a smiling facial expression, and a singing face. And she comes with a miniature figure of Rabbit Yukine, who always comes with the Snow Miku Nendoroids. For the most part, obviously the very, very old Snow Miku Nendoroid I have does not have him. And she also has a paintbrush for painting the sky, as it describes, and a Japanese umbrella and a snowflake as an optional part, as well as a special base featuring a sunrise design. And yeah, I really like this design. It's so, gorgeous. I love Miku's eyes. I love the colors. And it's very nice overall. And I am going to pretty much be pre-ordering these Snow Miku Nendoroids from now on because the aftermarket, at least for the very recent ones like this one, are super expensive. I believe these were kind of exclusive, hence why they're expensive. They go for like 100 USD now. So her original price was 9,000 yen. Again, very expensive, I guess because of that whole exclusivity thing, which kind of sucks, but I feel like if you want to pick up these Snow Miku Nendoroids, you might as well pre-order them because the aftermarket for some of these is a little bit ridiculous, so that's what I'm going to pretty much be doing going forth. Some nitpicks I have with this Nendoroid, I did notice that there is some little bit of a paint defect on the brush, like the gold, kind of is not where it's supposed to be. Additionally, I think I might have like dropped her a little bit because there's like a little bit of a messy area on her white part of her outfit. Everything else looks fine. The only other issue I have is her weight. It's a very heavy Nendoroid. You have to make sure her pigtails aren't too far back or else she will fall. Also, as I proceed to drop the paintbrush, it's also a little bit heavy. So that's something to be careful with. You do have to plug it into her hand, but it's a little bit tricky as well. So yeah, it's a little bit finicky in some areas. This is a Nendoroid you really don't want to like handle too much or else stuff will fall apart, but I love her design overall. Absolutely fantastic, and I'm excited to see some more Snow Miku Nendoroid designs in the future. And now we're moving on to the OG Snow Miku Nendoroid, which I got for 8 USD. Fairly simple. I also have to really dust this off because the dust is really sticking onto her. So yes, I had to clean this Nendoroid, and unfortunately, while I was doing so, I did scrape some of the paint off. It's not too noticeable, and it's like mostly on her pigtails. Unfortunately, because it's like kind of like a light, I guess they use like an airbrush for it, I accidentally like scraped some of it off, so just be careful with that. Additionally, her, you really shouldn't move her pigtails around too much because unfortunately, like the paint is chipping off. You really don't see that with Nendoroids nowadays, but with these OG Nendoroids, it's there. But overall, the outfit design is pretty well done. I really don't notice anything like awful on this one. So yeah, this Nendoroid comes with, a couple of different accessories. And by accessories, I mean just kind of the leak. And she also has multiple different facial expressions. She has this like open mouth one, she has a standard smiling expression, and she has this like faceplate. I'll probably, show it in the B-roll. which is interesting. I forgot what it specifically is called. But yeah, for like an OG Nendoroid, like very, very old, I should say, Nendoroid, actually doesn't look too bad. And I feel like it's interesting just to compare this Nendoroid to the Serene Snow Miku, just to see the quality of these Nendoroids over time. Additionally, I should mention that I do not like the vase that she came with. It basically, she just kind of sits in it. It's not really as like good as obviously Nendoroid bases of today. So that's interesting to look at. Additionally, I think I might have scraped some paint off of her headphones as well, so I'll probably have to patch that up. So yes, definitely in terms of like handling, you do have to be careful with it so you don't accidentally like rub the paint off in some areas, but I don't mind her too much, especially because I got her for $8, and yeah, she came out originally in 2010, so basically a 13-year-old Nendoroid at this point, and she was 3,000 yen. Very inexpensive. We all wish that Nendoroids could be this price, but yeah. Very cute 2 Nendoroids that I picked up, and you know, pretty good start to my Snow Miku Nendoroid collection. So now moving on to the next figure I have, which is a very adorable Nendoroid. This is the River Nendoroid. So this is from Good Small Art Shanghai's new series of figures. I think they're original characters. They're from Fluffy Land, I believe. That's the name of the series. And River is the first in a line of figures for this series. And I do quite like this box. I am a sucker for these kind of like glossy details, so you have like leaves going around the box, and then on top and also on the very front of the box you have very nice little star patterns. It's probably going to be hard to see the star patterns on the white parts of the box, but yeah, I think he looks super duper cute overall. So I picked this up for the look. It is definitely a furry character, but I got this for the design, not because, you know, I'm into furries or anything. So yes, super duper cute, and I'll pick up the adorable Nendoroid right now. So yes, here he is, and looking absolutely adorable. I think this is probably one of the cutest Nendoroids in my collection. They did a fantastic job with him overall. So he comes with multiple facial expressions. He has a smiling faceplate, a faceplate with his tongue sticking out, and the one I have him with is an exciting facial expression. And he really doesn't come with too many like other like notable accessories. He does have his little stuffed rabbit whose name is Barry, and a pile of berries on a leaf. And he also has like different like hand parts, like one of them are kind of like curled in a little bit to kind of hold the leaf. And he's got some like open like paw hand parts. And it's just a super cute character design. I like the way they sculpted his fur. I think that looks very well done overall. But yeah, I think the sculpt work on this one is like fantastic overall. And he can actually sit down on his own as well. He does have like sort of like rotating like legs, which is absolutely adorable. So yeah, I'm really loving this Nendoroid. The only other problem I had with him, I should say, is that when I was taking his head off and putting it back on, he does have like this fur that also kind of comes off. And unfortunately, I really rubbed that against his like upper shoulder area, and like a chunk of paint came off, which I was like, oh no, like, you know, because I was like putting his head back on and I was a little bit like rough and I accidentally scraped it off. And thankfully it's not noticeable because I have that tuft of fur on top, but that's just something to be careful with. But other than those issues, I think he's pretty well done overall for, you know, an Nendoroid like this. If you like these sort of cute like animal characters, I recommend picking him up. I think he turned out absolutely adorable. I'm excited for the other ones in this series. I did pre-order Oslo, I believe his name is. He's supposed to be like a snow leopard. Again, absolutely adorable. I feel like the pictures say a lot. So I'm very excited to pick him up in the future to go with, of course, River. So going into the next figure, I am doing voiceover because I don't know what happened to my on-camera footage for this figure. So I'm gonna just do a voiceover. So we have right here the Yu Yu Hakusho Artifacts J Kurama 1/8 scale figure by Kotobukiya. So a re-release of a figure that was also quite expensive in the aftermarket. Him and the other characters from this line were yeah, very expensive, so I'm glad they re-released him for retail. Only difference really with this box is that 30th anniversary stamp, which I think is a nice little touch. Going into the figure himself, I do like how he looks overall for an under 100 USD price tag. I do like this pose with the whip just wrapping around his body. And he does come with some other arms. There's another one you can do to have him posed with the other rose that he comes with. That arm was a little bit tricky for me to take in and out, so I just choose to display him with the whip. Overall sculpt is pretty nice. I wish there was maybe a little bit more shading in some areas. But for under 100 USD, I shouldn't expect that level of extra detail, to be honest. And yeah, so I'm quite happy with him overall. The base, it was very simple, clear red base, but has a nice like rose petals on there. I am kind of upset now knowing that Kotobukiya is doing a second version of Kurama in an Artifacts J 1/8 scale. I don't know if I'll pick that up, because I am happy with this one. We'll have to see how that one looks colored. But yeah. He is also on sale on AmiAmi for like 50 USD if you want to pick him up. And I think that's a pretty nice price tag overall for what you're getting. So yes, another nice long-haired boy to add to my collection at the end of the day. So now we're moving on to the 2 scale figures I picked up for the month. So the first one I have here is a re-release, and this is the 10 count Shirotani Tadaomi 1/8 scale figure by Freeing, when they used to make 1/8 figures. And yeah, pretty thin box overall. And so yes, this is a re-release of a very expensive in the aftermarket figure. And yeah, I want to take advantage of that re-release, so that's why I picked him up. I did read 10 count. I think before I pre-ordered this figure I didn't, and now I have. So yeah, I want to just take advantage of the re-release. So here is Shirotani, and yeah, very small overall. Again, I wish that maybe they made male figures, you know, 1/7 at the very least. Surprisingly, a whole bunch of them are 1/8. But yeah, so I actually picked him up of Good Small Global's website for I believe 148 USD, which I mean it beats the aftermarket price that he was at. And overall, I'd say he's not too bad overall. I do like the different finishes he has. He has a little bit of gold, he has some glossiness in his boots, and then the rest of his outfit is pretty matte overall. His facial expression, he's obviously very worried, very nervous. I wasn't sure how I felt about like the blush on there. He has like a couple of like lines on there to represent blush. It doesn't look too bad overall, and sculpt work on his hair is pretty nice overall. I do wish there was maybe more shading in areas. Unfortunately, it is pretty flat overall, I'd say. But the sculpt work is pretty good on his outfit with the wrinkles and just the way, since he's leaning over, how gravity is kind of working right there. And dang, he's got a pretty good back sculpt, I have to say. Base is, you know, pretty boring overall. It's just a plain white disc. So basically, Shirotani and Kurose, they really only have a few scale figures in, you know, the market. And by few, I mean that native scale that is never going to get re-released, and that's an arm and a leg in the aftermarket, which I'm fine with just sticking with these versions of them. You can also settle for the Nendoroids if you want. I think those are also expensive in the aftermarket, so I just decided to settle on these re-releases for the moment. So yeah, overall pretty nice, and you know, it's nice to have like a, you know, figure of this character in my collection. And now the last figure I have in my collection that I have to kind of back up for, because it is another 1/4 scale figure by Freeing this time, and that is the Junko Enoshima bunny version. And when I saw this figure, I pretty much instantly pre-ordered it because I liked the outfit design. So I'll show the box up first to the best of my abilities, because I'm pretty I'm pretty far back and the glare on the camera doesn't help. So yeah, pink and black design. You have some images of the figure all around it. And yeah, I'm just a sucker again for like black and white themed figures, and you know, I did like the outfit design that they gave for Junko herself. And I haven't actually played Danganronpa, so I'm like, oh, you know, maybe I'm like, I only justified picking this figure up for the design, but, you know, needless to say, I wanted her. I did think she looked cool and striking, and I did like the outfit design, so yes. So I'll show her off right now, of course. So here's the lovely Junko herself, our Despair Queen, as I should say. And overall, like, just the pose I really love. And the sculpt work is overall pretty nice. I do like her boots. They're absolutely gorgeous. They do have like little bows at the top, which are a little bit of a flexible material, so, you know, as they say with like flexible materials on figures, definitely be careful so you don't break anything. I do like the bunny suit overall. Again, the black and white I think looks nice, and I'm kind of I do kind of like how they kind of gave her like an opening there. I think that looks pretty good overall. The eyes, very well done. She even, of course, has her iconic Monokuma little twist ties for her pigtails. And yeah, I'm overall happy with the figure. Unfortunately, mine did have some slight little issues. The first one is that there's like a little bit of like smudging or some weirdness on the white part of her outfit. I'll probably show it in some B-roll. That was a little bit disappointing. Granted, the angle I'll display her at, you can't really see it. And additionally, I feel like you have to be careful with the tips of her hair because I feel like the paint can chip off very easily. They are quite pointy, so I would also watch out for that as well. And I did notice that now with her fishnets, they don't really quite like, what do you call it? Like, they're not quite fit to her legs. There's a little bit of like a gap, or like a little bit of, excess, I guess you could say, on there, which isn't awful. And again, I feel like it's on the white side of her, outfit, so you really won't notice it. But yeah, there's also some, I feel like some subtle shading on her white outfit, which I think is nice. You can kind of tell in the black as well, but not so much. I guess my other complaint, and probably like the last one I have, is that I do wish her hair had way more shading. It just feels like way too flat of a color. Some more highlights, some more like deeper shading, I think would make this figure a heck of a lot better. The sculpt is great, they just have to shade it a little bit more just to elevate this one. And lastly, I did not expect this figure to come with a vase, but she does. And in the B-roll you will see it, and the reason why is she really can't sit up on her own. On my shelf she thankfully can. It's not too bad, but she does wobble. Unfortunately, if you are in an area where you bump into your shelf easily, I definitely recommend having the base, because she will fall over and you will end up with paint scratches and just issues up the wazoo. So overall, I am very happy to have this in my collection. I do quite like her with the tights. I don't know how I'm gonna feel with her without the tights. Again, Fearing will probably re-release this in the future without the tights. But I am satisfied with the tights version of this figure, so yes. Overall, even with her issues, I am very happy to have this lovely Freeing bunny in my collection. So yes, that overall concludes this video on my June and July figure haul. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what your guys' favorite figures were in this video. So if you guys did enjoy this video, and of course if you would like to, feel free to take the time to subscribe to my channel to see what other figure and merch related shenanigans I get into next. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night wherever you are, and take it easy. Goodbye.